Whoa, whoa.
What's up, Bobby?
Market Vitals, your daily show. Currently moving up the rankings, Matt. Market Vitals, currently moving up the rankings in viewership.
Now watch more than CNN. Didn't take much.
The Clinton News Network rapidly losing sponsorships with Al Gorleone and the Clinton crime family. This week on PBS, we won't cover it because it doesn't serve our agenda as far as funding is concerned. Matt, it's all about funding.
All about funding.
Everything's about funding. I wanted to bring up a tweet, though, because not only is it about funding in life, and we like to talk about life, right?
I do. Life is worth living.
Life is worth living. The current situation that we're in, though, Todd Harrison showing Colorado and California cannabis consumption through the roof. Nothing better to do than sit at home, lock down, smoke a blunt, play a video game, maybe. For sure, a sign of the times, Matt.
You know, I got a group text with a bunch of buddies. We send around a funny one that, you know, always has some crazy like headline and then it's got a link. And, you know, we like to make up these headlines just to get people to click on the links, right? It's all about the links. And yeah, you've seen that from me, I think, a few times. And that's kind of where we are. We're in this BSD, big swinging, you know what, area where we're just being tossed around violently on both sides of the stories, right? Like you and I talk about this all the time. Like I've never seen a time where you have the exact bipolar headlines of the same subjects, right, going on.
It's unreal. I mean, every day there's several. Not only that, there's several that are irony. I'll say it again. We live in the age of irony. There was the Bronze Age. There was the Gilded Age. There was the Iron Age. This is the age of irony. It's unbelievable. The old adage that politics makes strange bedfellows. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I do know this. I frickin' hate it. I hate the environment that we've created. I hate that everybody's siloed, that nobody can have a conversation. I was telling you about the Zoom that I saw of a highly intelligent, decorated professor from Princeton, and they want his head because he speaks the truth. It's unbelievable to me how far we have fallen in civil discourse.
It's kind of a combination of, the Scarlet Letter and the shaming that went on during Christ's, time in the BC area, the stoning that's going on without even a fair trial. It's crazy. But let's talk about something good.
All right. Let me just show you something good, man. Let me show you something good here.
Football game was the best thing I've seen in sports. And here's why for me. It's simple. There was fans there. There was the dog pound was back in Cleveland. And it felt like normalcy for a while. Like it did. There wasn't a full stadium, but darn, there was 25,000, I think. And they were loud. And they were into it. And they kept showing the fans in the crowd. I haven't had that in so long. And I was so excited for the dog pound to be as happy as they were. And it didn't work out at the end. But what a great game. It was a fantastic game. Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, two awesome Heisman Trophy winners just going at it and balling like ballers, both of them in their own way. No defense on the field, which John Harbaugh was not happy about. But what a game. It was fun to watch.
Absolutely. I got to tell you, I have not seen a more competitive NFL in a while. And it's super fun to watch. Unfortunately for the NFL, their ratings are in the toilet.
Yes.
Anyway, we were talking good news just a second ago.
Yeah.
And along with the marijuana consumption through the roof, that's good news for the marijuana industry. But this is another one that I thought was awesome. Hemp provides bees excellent nutrition when they need it most. New study finds. Bees love cannabis.
They did.
Hey, there's a silver lining everywhere if you look for it. And I know the bee population doesn't like the times that we're in either. In general,
everybody loves the hemp, which is the female product, and the male is the marijuana plant. That's the difference. So
well, we'll leave that to the beekeepers. Matt, just before we get into price discovery on things, this Linwood tweet about the CCP and thousands of U.S. citizens, and I believe that he's saying that there's thousands of people on this CCP list of China Communist Party. We will see how this all falls out. Again, I've never been more sick of a current time than we are in now. My thought, though, immediately, since I'm the cynic, is when do they supply the app so you can, like they have the child predator, the sex offender. When does the app come out with the
CCP indicator?
Say that again.
The CCP indicator.
Yeah, exactly. I want to know.
It's contact tracing for the Communist Party. Yeah.
Contact.
Matter of fact, I've got a special acquisition company just for you around that subject. We can come up with, with technology. We're going to start one. We're going to start a CCP SPAC that invests in snuffing out such, under the belly, what's going on from outside interactions.
All right, man, let's do it. Let's talk. We're going to talk SPACs today. I'm better at spackle myself, fixing holes in walls, sanding them out nicely and painting.
Wall Street is full of trends always, right? And which trends you're in are important. You should know what's trending when you're a trader. And right now, whether it's EV, whether it's electric cars and their feeder parts, the battery companies, that's one area that's been huge. Pot stocks have been up and down, have had their trendy moments this year. But the one for me that's just gone off the hook, and this I think is a great way of showing people, the special acquisition companies that have come public this year. And this is the number, you want to focus on the left there, Bob, on the SPAC and US IPO activity. These are not new, and we need to let people know this, right? I don't think people realize this is not, and we're going to do this. I want to have John come in and talk a little bit about last night's game. We're going to keep him short, 10 minutes, okay? We're going to keep...
Right on, hold on a second.
Let him in.
Let's bring him in. And we'll get back to SPACs.
We'll get back to SPACs. You got it there? Where'd he go? He was there and he's gone.
John.
There he is. I think he was on his trainer or something. I don't know what that means, but we'll find out here. There he is.
Look at a man ready to go.
Oh, he's on his bike. His trainer. Oh, are you on a Peloton? You're a trendy guy, John. You're probably on one.
Say it one more time, bud.
I said you're a trendy guy. You're probably on a Peloton right now.
No, actually, I'm not. I'm on something a little crazier than that. But anyway, we can talk while I'm spinning. Go ahead.
Listen, we got you for a few minutes. The best game in the NFL season last night for me as a fan, and as I said, John, it was all about being a fan and watching fans in the stadium, my friend. That's what made and on top of that, it was a great game with two great Heisman Trophy winners going at it. Your thoughts?
Well, I screenshotted you my son's text. As he stayed up past his bedtime, 15-year-old Raven freak. He said, I think I texted you the great epic. He said epic. So I'm sure he was hurting this morning, but it was well worth it. That's the value of kids that don't gamble and they just have a true love of the game. Honestly, this. I could care less. Like I'm straight. Like I had the winner in last night's game. I had the over. I could care less who won the game at the end. For my son, I was happy. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Well, so it's interesting because the line early in the week was Cleveland -1.
Pick'em. It opened up a pick'em and Steve.
And it went to what, 3?
3.5
for Baltimore.
Correct.
So big move, which again should tell people money was piling into Baltimore as the week went on. The smart money was moving the line. was being pushed.
Correct. Yep. That's exactly. But that doesn't necessarily guarantee a win. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, smart money, a lot of times smart money is they're betting both sides of the same game. So,
Right.
you know, a lot of these guys are arbing games and they're just buying it up and then buying it down, buying it. It's kind of like you see any market move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
John, I got a question for you because as we get to the end of the season here,
End of the season.
betting teams to win the Super Bowl now. What are your thoughts on that? And I say this because when I watched the Buffalo defense the other night, it reminded me of the '85 Bears, and obviously their odds are going to go down if they make the playoffs. How deep they go in the playoffs.
Most professional bettors bet the futures before the season starts, and most of the public they'll do it now. It's not really a viable strategy because think about it. It's like you guys trading leaps, right? You know, it's way out there. And then you have people that will have this contract and then they'll bet against and hedge as they go through a series. But regarding to the season, from a betting point of view, just let's remember one thing. College basketball is here full throttle. November preseason NBA is playing right now. The season starts on December 23rd.
Shortest preseason ever.
Shortest preseason ever, but for us in the betting business, more opportunities. I wanted to talk to you guys about something newsworthy. I don't know. I'm sure you guys saw it. The governor, Phil Murphy, on his Twitter feed this morning.
Governor of what?
Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey.
Thank you.
Big news. Our sports betting industry has once again set a monthly record with 930 million wagered in November. As the nation's capital of sports betting, New Jersey is on track to break the 1 billion month mark, creating jobs and strengthening our economy. And this is what I told people. I said, as you know this, Matt, being in the sports advisory business for 34 years, if I get 100 calls, and most people don't realize this, 99 of them are from the East Coast. There's no money on the West Coast in the betting business. Never has been. Never will be. All the people that are in Vegas that are betting, large betting syndicate groups, they all emanate out of New York. They all emanate out of New Jersey. They all emanate out of Florida. And so it's interesting. The public perception has always been like Sin City, Las Vegas, West Coast. West Coast in the gambling world, Wall Street, East Coast, Vegas Street, East Coast. All the money has always been. And I said to my guys in Vegas, because I do a radio show in Las Vegas, as you know, for the last 7 years, I said, wait till they legalize sports wagering in Jersey. They're going to surpass the handle and make Vegas irrelevant. Vegas now, when it comes to sports betting, is irrelevant.
Wow. That's unbelievable to hear. You know, me and Matt both.
But we must say that the sports side of the casinos in Vegas is so small also.
Well, I'm just talking about the multi-billion-dollar business of.
I understand. But let's not say Vegas is dying. It's just
no. Well, no, I will say this. I know professional sports bettors like myself that you know this, Matt, did the once a month flight to Vegas pre-COVID. Every month I basically fly to Vegas 16 weeks a year. This is the first year since I went to Vegas in March, right before the lockdown. In March, I haven't been back to Vegas since March. It's the longest stretch in 10 years that I haven't been going to Vegas monthly. Now, I was going for the purpose of media, meeting my marketing obligations, radio, TV, etc. But I was also betting in the casinos because I was in Maryland and it wasn't legal. Well, truthfully, now I can drive 45 minutes from my office to West Virginia to a Penn Gaming book. I can drive 45 minutes west to West Virginia. I can drive 45 minutes north to Delaware. I can drive 29 minutes to the border of Pennsylvania and use my FanDuel app. Just move my car half an inch across the border. I live on my bike. I have literally rode my bicycle to Pennsylvania as part of my workout, stopped and made a bet, put the phone back in my jersey, and then went back. So just keep in mind, even for me, and now we passed the league, we passed sports wagering in Maryland. So now, if I can do the TV remote, if I can do the radio remote, why do I really need to ever fly to Vegas again?
No. I mean, I get your side of it for sure, but I'm just saying, here's what's here's the bigger picture for me.
Play blackjack right here. I have gaming casinos 10 minutes from me in Maryland.
Yeah.
I can go sit with plastic between the dividers and play blackjack and craps and baccarat and roulette and play the slot machine. So truth be told, unless it's about escaping the possible 10 inches of snow we're going to have here tomorrow in Baltimore, and you're looking to be a snowbird and go to Vegas for the warm weather in the winter, I don't see a compelling reason why someone, especially now with COVID and spatial distancing, before it was people going for the food, it was people going for the shows, it was people going with their wives. They could send the wife to the pool all day while they gambled, send her to the spa all day while they gambled, send her to the fashion mall, send her to the forum shops. You don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, man. I mean, that seems like it's a monstrous thing going forward for these casinos, that if they don't have the high rollers coming in betting games, it's the collateral damage that the casino gets to enjoy, right? The wife at the shops, the guy at the tables, because there's no games on and he's a total degenerate junkie. It's 2 a.m.
Exactly.
For sure.
I'm saying,
no, but here's the thing I'm gonna leave it, John, with this today, and I'm gonna have you give us like your game of the week that you like, that's moving, a line that's moving. But let me say this. Here's what it's doing. The legality of sports betting is now allowing the guy who didn't have a book anywhere, offline, online, in a back of a bar. That guy is now coming to the table and saying, I'm bored. I'm going to put $5 on a game. Like me, that's how I like to play. Like last night, I didn't have any money on the game. I would have taken probably Cleveland last night. So I would have won, but I would have been lucky there at the end.
My wager I had yesterday was a teaser. It was a 10-point. It was a Cleveland plus 10 over 38. So in that situation, regardless of who wins the game, once it's tied, I'm going to win the game regardless, no matter what. And those are basically synthetic bets you can put on. Obviously, you know about teasers. If you're watching this and you've never heard of a teaser and you want to find out how to do that, that's just something we do when we can cross key numbers of 3 and 7 in the NFL. Regarding the game of the week, I'll leave you with this short segment. Miami is the number 1 team against the spread. They are 10-3 in the last 13 games. That means the entire season, the only team that has covered against the spread 10 times this season is the Miami Dolphins. They are the winningest team. Now you have a spot where Cam Newton got trashed New England. They made Miami a 2.5-point favorite. So I'll leave you guys with this. I would say that the square away would be just ride Miami. It's under 3 points and hope they get the cover. Sharps will be all over New England. They'll wait for the game to go to 3. The minute the game goes to 3, they will come in with a vengeance like you've never seen, and they will hammer the game because that's what Sharps do. They play the contrarian side. Sorry about that. They play the contrarian side.
No worries.
And let me apply that. They play the contrarian side. If you're not in with an advisory firm like ours, and you're not following systems and trends, and you're not playing all the games that we play. For instance, my biggest play last night was Nevada, talking about Vegas, in college basketball. It wasn't the football game, and that's the value of what we do. We're not
the Wolfpack.
I'm sorry?
The Wolfpack.
Yeah, but we're not sports specific. Nobody cares that it's
no. I'm just saying Nevada Wolfpack.
Right, but the point is the gambler at home like you is going to bet on the NFL game only because it's of interest and it's on TV, while we are running numbers on all the games.
Correct.
We had a second game, Pepperdine. It was a selection for all of our clients. I'm mentioning that because this is the world we're living in now. You put the bet in on Pepperdine, then you log into your account, it says canceled. All of a sudden, late COVID cancellation. So that's the thing that we can talk about each week, which is you don't know, even when you make a bet, if the bet's even going to go off.
So in those events, they just refund money, John?
Refund money. Just a little aside, as you guys know, I do a radio show every Wednesday on sportsinsiderradio.com. The link is, you can go to sportsinsiderradio.com or the Syndicate Insider, listen to the show's archive. Since the pandemic started, even when there was no sports, we did a show every Wednesday talking about international sports and what's going on in Vegas and what's going on. No show this Wednesday. Why is there no show this Wednesday? I get a call this morning, 3 positives in the radio station. They now had to shut down the radio station for 6 days. Hopefully the radio station will be cleared and we'll be able to go back on the radio next Wednesday. This is the world we're living in. Games getting canceled. My radio show getting canceled. So this is a big deal when it comes to wagering and moving millions of dollars on these games. Yes, the good news is you're never going to lose when they cancel a wager. You're going to just get your money back.
Right. Okay. Hey, John.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on, as always.
John Syndicate, everybody. The Syndicate Insider. Reach him at John Syndicate, syndicateinsider.com. Please join that private syndicate group and tell John when you join that Matt and Bob sent them your way. All right?
And real men wear pink.
And real men.
I got no problem. Here, last question. What are the Bills to win the Super Bowl?
Let me give you the exact odds. If you want to give me 1 second, instead of making it up, I'll log in.
Where's the fast money? Where's the fast money moving on into the playoffs? Which team is getting the most money right now for Super Bowl?
I mean, honestly, probably. Look, it's an assumption that Kansas City is going to win the Super Bowl, but it's also an assumption that if there's going to be a big upset, it's going to be the team you watched win last night, my team.
Baltimore.
Look, in terms of value, if you're going to bet a futures bet, sports, futures.
I love it. Degenerate.
I'm trying to navigate the screen. NCAA. Oh, here we go. Super Bowl. We can bet heads or tails right now. No, I can't even believe they have that up right now.
That is insane.
All right, here we go. Kansas City Chiefs plus 180. Number 2 team, which my son actually is in agreement with, Green Bay Packers plus 700. That's your best value with Aaron Rodgers, followed by the Saints plus 800, Rams plus 1,000. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams that are plus 1,200, which I just won't go through. Believe it or not, Pittsburgh is one of them. They started on that 10-0 run. So Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Seattle, Baltimore, and Tennessee all have the same odds.
And what about Buffalo?
Buffalo is same odds as Baltimore, Pittsburgh. That's part of that.
Right on. And what are the Bears?
Come on. I mean, if you want to retire, go ahead. I mean, plus 30,000.
Fucking go Bears, goddammit.
Yeah, plus 30,000. Cowboys are plus 50,000. The Broncos are plus 150,000. And
Cowboys?
round it off, the Lions are plus 100,000.
Thank you, John.
Look, let's just be clear, and you can mark this in the history of in a decade when we're doing these videos. The assumption is that Kansas City is like Brady. Like if these other teams don't do anything, it's going to be a very boring Super Bowl next decade. It's going to be Kansas City, 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 kind of like the Brady era. So again, for us, we're making all of our money on wagering. Do I really think anybody's going to beat Kansas City? No, Kansas City's going to win.
KC it is.
Buffalo already beat him, dude. Buffalo already beat him.
He's just, they're too good, man. They can be down 10-20. It's like being down like nothing, They were down in Miami. Next thing you know, they're up 24-10. It's like a joke.
Hey, listen, John is your special acquisition investor if you need sports. Call John. We got to go, and we're going to talk SPACs next.
We're talking SPACs, John.
Futures still at 65 a week ago.
We're dead. Close the market. We're done for the year, buddy. Merry Christmas.
Talk to you guys
Happy
next
Hanukkah.
Thank you, John.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, Matt, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it.
Yeah, we were talking, it's interesting. We can transition very nicely because a lot of people don't know about SPACs, but SPACs have been around for 20 years. If you go to the lower left of that chart, Bob, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see the number of IPOs that have come public since 2003 when these started. And you can see a lot of money is going into this. And this is the key number, the top this year. We've gone 4.5x from last year. This is telling me that the trend has gone off the rails, right? And you've got so many of these stocks. And matter of fact, as we had John on, one of these SPACs that everybody knows about, they probably don't know, but is DraftKings. They started as a SPAC, and that was the way that they went public. So a lot of these companies use a special acquisition to put themselves so they don't have to go through the S1 process of IPOing, right? So it's a lot easier to get public by using this method than to go through the horse and buggy show where you have to go and sell your product to all the banks and all the traders. So this is one way that they can do it much faster. They get to the market quickly. And DraftKings, you can see, has been one of the top performers, obviously, since they came public. I mean, they're up over 500% since they went public. QuantumScape is another big one right on top there that's been talked about. Iridium, I think is involved in satellite type stuff still. And they're
so Matt, let me ask you a question just for clarification for myself and the investing public. It's basically like a manager, right? You're hiring, if you buy the SPAC, you're hiring this group of people that are involved with the SPAC to make the best trading decisions. And it doesn't have to be in a particular quadrant. It can be all over the board. But that's kind of the deal, right?
Yeah, it is. Matter of fact, Mark Cuban has one. I'm pretty sure it's LG. Here, let me bring it up. Let me share my screen.
Hold on, let me stop. All right, I'm just going to say right now, Mark Cuban versus Richard Branson. Who you betting on doing a better job for your investment dollars?
This is a fair question, but this is kind of where we are.
But that's kind of the analysis, right? Me and you are going to just analyze the chart.
Yeah.
The fundamental side, you have to believe in the story of the people that are running it.
Well, and then, even in a lot of ways, Berkshire is really is a SPAC, right? They invest in businesses and they take the long view and they're in it for the long haul. But this long view is actually, I believe this is the Mark Cuban one. And again, you can see that they've all exploded at the same time. And this is really the point I want to show with these charts, right? This is November 1st. This thing had been trading since August. It was just basically a dead vehicle. And now all of a sudden somebody said, hey, do you know Mark Cuban's got this long view? And they all chase. It's like the casino opening on Monday. It's why you don't trade markets on Monday mornings. This is how the masses behave. But if you're a momentum guy, you love this stuff, right, Bobby?
Yeah, I never found a momentum I didn't like, including
LGVU is one. IPOC is one that's gotten real big. I'm going to throw that one up here. And again, you can see, you're going to see the same chart showing itself here. Basically the last month, boom. This one.
Dude, that is a brutal profile though.
It's hideous, right? But everybody's like, social capital. And again, I don't know the backing on this one. I don't know who's in this one. INAQ. But I just want to show how when the masses go crazy, this is what happens. INAQ is another one that's been going on, so I've been following a little bit. IPOB. Look at this one. This one's been out for a while. This is a big one. I know some of our traders at marketvitals.io have been talking about this. Again, it's a little smoother. It's been, at least this one's got volume. Averages 4 million a day and it's trading about 2 million. So I like this out of everything I've shown you better than anything. They're all overly bullish for sure. And this is the trend that we're talking about. Rocket is another one, RKT. And this one, again, pretty liquid, moving pretty well, averages 13.5 million shares a day. And again, market cap of 2.6 billion. So these are legitimate trading vehicles right now. And then I'll leave it with this final SPAC today, and this is a weed one. This is a weed name, GNRS, Green Rose Acquisition, right? This all has to do with the marijuana space. So hemp, marijuana companies, the picks and shovels, anything they're going to be looking at. So this one's interesting too. Very thin, hasn't started trading until recently. You see how the lack of activity from July until just the last couple, really 2 weeks. All right. So this is in play. If you want to get in early, this is the trend. It's starting. But hey, Bob, can you take me back to your chart of, or I can show that. Hang on.
Yeah, no, I got it right here. You want me to do it?
That'd be great. Thank you. But again, coming back to your screen here, on the left, that number, that 4X number concerns me. It should also concern you because, they were kind of regularly coming out 10 to 20, and then they jumped to 34 and 17, and then they went to 46, trending. And now everybody and their brothers in this business, right?
234 IPOs in the SPAC in 2020.
This tells me there's a lot of shit in that pile now. And it's a little
exactly.
It's a little smelly because it's gotten bigger. And those that were doing it quietly before and have succeeded, those being QuantumScape, DraftKings, Space, SPCE, the Virgin Galactic, that's another SPAC. These companies are, people point to, right? But now you got everybody jumping on and because the way Wall Street works is they get fees for coming public, right? For underwriting this risk, for putting it out there, spending the time and writing up the pamphlets and the paperwork that has to be filed with the SEC, et cetera. So now that everybody's chasing it because they all think that it's the fastest way to fast money, and it has been for a number, you're going to have a lot of shit. So again, my point is now you really have to dig into that pile. There's a lot of things in that pile that you're going to have to find out who's running it. What are the expenses of running that SPAC? How do they run it? What do they look for? And then if it's an area like marijuana that you're interested and their finances look pretty good, those that are in the SPAC line there, do they know enough about the business to make smart decisions? And as you said, that's what it's going to come down to is who's running it, how do they run it, what type of business do they run, what have they run? In other words, if you haven't ever invested in marijuana or hemp products before, you're just creating a SPAC, well, maybe it's not that great of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100% that you got to look at the story of it's now the manager, right? And let's go to the granddaddy of them all, right? Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah.
This is a 3-day. It made new all-time highs back here, 17 November. But it's just kind of lower. If we fractal out to the weekly, if I can, challenged. Now fully out of Mo on the weekly. For me, that's not healthy. That if the patient comes into the ER, I'd say, he was really good on the way here, but he don't look so good anymore. And so,
well, and I would make the suggestion, on your chart that we kind of double top there after making a new high on Berkshire just recently and failed. So, we kind of rolled over again, right back to where we got back to the pre-COVID number where Berkshire was, huge recovery, and right back to rolling over again, maybe. So
yeah, I mean, and I think that's important. I said it kind of in jest on, like, at the end of the day, the chart's going to guide you or I, and we hope people will learn those techniques and those nuances. But on the fundamental side, it's like, who do you trust more with your money, Warren Buffett or Mark Cuban? You know, I mean, I think those type of analysis have to be made.
Well, and again, Mark Cuban has made a lot of good investments in his days in technology, outside of, getting the timing right on Broadcom and nailing that, absolutely selling the stock when he needed to instead of holding it until,
Dude, let's face it, it's probably the best out in the history of outs.
Yeah, Cuban's always been a great trader too. So I always tip my hat to Mark Cuban as a business guy /trader because he is the consummate trader businessman, and there's not a lot of those out there. Buffett is another one of them. Like they're gonna buy when things are hammered and people are bloody and gorged, or they're going to be ahead of the technology and have piles of companies that they're looking at, both private and public, that they know the space so well that they're going to make the investment and own tire changing businesses like Warren Buffett, or furniture businesses like he likes to do. He invests in stuff that throws off cash. That's Buffett's thing. Cuban maybe more, hey, I'm trying to catch the next trend of the next technology, whether it's AI, EV, et cetera, exactly. Right?
And he's big into AI and that whole next generation of technology that either will be good or it'll be our demise. I'm not sure there's going to be middle ground on AI.
Yes. And yeah, so the special purpose acquisition corps, the SPACs, just be aware that there's a lot of, don't chase them just because there's a new one. Understand what, this is where it makes sense to understand a little bit about the story before you get involved. Then once you're comfortable with the story, then you can trade what the price tells you, right? That's where it makes sense. And something like this, we're not talking about, when we talk about, Tesla, we know what they do. I mean, we don't know exactly what they do, but we have a general idea that they make cars and batteries and, things electric related, right?
Right,
EV
exactly.
related. So understand that just because there's a ton of these coming public, there's going to be a lot of shit in the pile. Just as a trader and as an investor, you need to be aware that there's ebbs and flows of capital into these trends. And when these trends change, as you've seen recently, like EVs gotten cold because everything's kind of, the chips have all rushed over to SPACs, and then they may shift back to EV when they get lower. Who knows? But this stuff doesn't just go parabolic forever.
Absolutely.
So,
all right, Matt, let me talk Bitcoin because I dabbled a little bit. Whoa, where'd you go? I lost you for a second. We had talked about whoa, let's rocket it. That Beaksy rocket. My crypto.
That shit.
It never gets old, Matt. My crypto trading powered by the Beaksy Exchange. I was first drawn to the Beaksy Exchange because there are guys out of Chicago that were involved in the fiat world to begin with. In crypto, they call cryptos hoodies and suits. So originally hoodies were just the hoodies that did all the programming and started the revolution. And the suits were the guys that came in that had actually been involved in finance, in trading, in exchanges. And so Cryptos, Hoodies, and Suits, by the way, is a private group available at marketvitals.io. Anyway, let's go to the chart and talk Bitcoin because, as we said yesterday, all things being considered, I thought it was going to set up for an opening this week out of up momentum. Now, that did not pan out. And so you have to, actually, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. I pay attention to that, right? They rejected the level. They rejected it for a reason. Somebody came in and said, I'm taking them here. And now this chart to me looks explosive. I'm long a little bit. I'm keying off some shorter time frames for my stop level. But for me, generally, this looks like it wants to take out these all-time highs. And I said it yesterday. I wasn't going to wait for for that high to be taken out here. This high, 19,956. I'm already in. It looks bullish to me. And so playing from the long, especially in crypto, for me, I don't play the short side. It's hard to short it in the U.S. I would rather find places to get long. And although I'm not, because this thing has gone so far already, right? I'm tentatively long, Matthew. I'm tentatively long, and I'm watching it.
You're pinky in, and you're pinky in, and a forefinger out.
Absolutely, but for me, and let's go to another frame here. Fibonacci with cream sauce, 610 is a Fibonacci number. All right, so we've got a nice congestion here sideways over this whole area, and we're still in up momentum. As long as we can hold the momentum level, I'm comfortable being long Bitcoin. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm playing. And I am also, by the way, now paying attention to the crosses. But if you look at the cross charts, not many of them are green, but a few of them have my interest, but in general, not so much. That's what I'm seeing, Matt.
Let me take a quick look at the big boy Bitcoin real quick. I'll give you my 2 cents. I haven't talked about it in a week.
Matt, yours is worth 3, by the way.
3 cents then. We had a new high of this move, 19,566 this morning. This was 19,434. Again, you've got multiple trend lines that I've talked about here in the past. And depending on which one you want, we're still below the big one. To me, this one right here, which was the low to the high. And even though we're out and going right, so to your side, we could we could still be bearish and climb anywhere up here, right? And that's what this line says. And so, and then we're getting to that point again in the profile, and we're looking at 2 months here that, yeah, if they can get momentum, if they can get buyers, it can go higher. You have all this support again down to 17.6. As long as 17.6 continues to hold, it's a lot harder for me to buy at 19.4 where we are today, but I can see how many are chomping, and this is what scares me, and it's kind of the pinky forefinger thing for me. I look at the volume and look at this: high, lower, 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 lower.
And the same, speaking of the volume, same thing in the equity side. Just for
so again, you have this, kind of divergence in price and in volume, which seasonally you shouldn't, this is what you're seeing here, right? You're going up because it's the holidays. Trading desks are getting quieter. People are starting to travel to see grandma. F COVID, they're still going to go see grandma. F COVID. And, again, I think people, we're just kind of, and this is why I call this the silly season. And this year it's even more, it's harder to predict what's going to happen. Usually I'd say just take I used to say you're done basically from Thanksgiving until January 15th. I'm hanging around, but it's pretty much feeling done right now, unless there's a news shock that's coming. It's just gotten really quiet. And, we're now 15th. So we're, basically next Wednesday, we're done until the end of the year.
So just to be clear, the meat of that profile is about $2,000. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
17.6 to 19.6. Exactly. Yep.
Exactly 2,000. So 19.6 to 21.6 would be a logical place for it to project to.
That's correct. I mean, if we can get back above that 19.6 with emphasis, yeah. And again, that kind of matches with, the timing here. I mean, if we ran up to 21.6, that gets you up to somewhere in here. Absolutely.
Right on.
Yep.
All right, Matt. Always a pleasure, Matthew. Always a pleasure. Anything else?
I do. I just want to run through again on Biden announcing again that he's won the election for the 9th time in a month, and yet we have no president. I just want to touch on the fact that he won again last night, and so we gapped up. We gapped up again overnight. It's getting old. And then we fell down, we gapped and crapped again, and now we're back testing, the highs that we opened with. This market, and no new prices are being discovered here. So I just want to be clear. Don't overread what is going on in these markets. And we continue to be bound on the top end here. 37.15, we ticked up there. We're still rolling over. We're finishing rollover this week. You got the holidays coming. Don't overthink this stuff. We're not going to get this.
Again, Matt, another profile that is just brutal.
It's brutal. The fact that the S&P has holes like this, and we've traded a lot over the last 2 months, these are all holes that will be filled in. It may be after we go to 4,000. I don't know, but right now, I don't want to be betting heavily one way or the other. I might skew my side to the bearish side coming into the new year. That's just me, but that might be for the next month's trades, right? Or the next 2 months trades. But don't overthink holiday trading, because it's a waste of your time, generally speaking. And I say this from 32 years of experience. Don't hang around. Nothing's going to happen. If news hits, you can come back to the terminal at any point. Whether you have an iPotato like Bob and, or an iPhone, you can get pretty much informed immediately. And you can have your charts with you immediately. So by all means, F COVID, spend time with your family and friends and have a good time, people. Merry Christmas.
Not a long time.
Merry Christmas and happy Hanukkah, Bobby.
Right on.
Happy holidays.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, Matt.
It is.
All right, pal. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
And listen, please join us at marketvitals.io. Whatever you trade, we are a growing community, and we are looking for honest voices about trade setups, trade management, risk management, profit management, Christmas ideas, New Year's drinks, and holiday barbecues. Thanks.
We're going to be doing some of that barbecuing and drinking, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
All right. We'll see you.
Thanks, Bobby.